purpose of this video is to explain how to manage suite detail inside Cloud Stacking Plans. So what we'll do is go ahead and log in. Once we log in, we're taken to Properties, where we'll go ahead and click Search and find our property. We're managing the Western Union building. What we'll do now is click on Floors and Suites, and that takes us to Floor and Suite Management, where inside here we'll actually find the suite that we want to manage. So if we go ahead and click on View Charles Schwab, that will take us to a screen called Suite Detail with all of the information about Charles Schwab. Now let's just say that we want to hop to a different floor and manage a different suite inside of a different floor. What we can do is select a different floor and then select a suite inside that floor, and then it basically will load all of the data for that particular suite. So we'll go ahead and go back to our original suite here, which is Charles Schwab. And from left to right, we have a description and comments, which you can put in any details that you wish about this particular suite detail. Here is where you can embed a document inside the suite. And the reason for this is that inside of our stacking plans, once they're actually printed to a PDF is an interactive document that enables us to embed a hyperlink inside the document itself. So what we've done is we've given you the ability to upload a document against the suite, and then when you create your stacking plan, you have the ability to choose to have this document be a hyperlink inside the cell of the suite itself, so that when your users read this from a PDF, or when they read their stacking plan from a PDF, they have the ability to, from inside the cell, click a link that will pop this document that you embedded here. It's very handy when it comes to floor plans or pictures of the suite or anything else that you want to embed. So down here we get into to the detail of the suite itself, which is all of this data that you see here is you have the ability to embed this inside the cells of the stacking plan. So you got suite number, square footage, you've got contact info here. You've got the tenant name itself. You've got the abbreviation of the tenant. A lot of times people like to use an abbreviation for the tenant name, because sometimes tenant names can be very long, and it's a lot easier to just use an abbreviation. So you have the option to choose between these two on the stacking plan. Suite category basically gives you the ability to classify the suite. And once it's classified as a particular item, this class is associated with a color. So when you're in your stacking plan itself, you can go through the standard colors, which is based on expiration year, or you can basically you can choose to color it based on some specified classes by you. So like this one, for instance, is class 1. If we look at our suite categories, when this stacking plan is actually printed out, if you had chosen class 1 for that particular suite, Charles Schwab would show up as orange. This is helpful because a lot of our users want to color their stacking plans based on their own criteria. It's not always going to be based on expiration year. So you can create these classes and assign whatever color you want. It's all completely customizable by you. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our last screen, which is where we were at for Charles Schwab, and moving right along. We've got business type, we've got suite is vacant, or suite is available. If you check these two, then basically suite is vacant is that's helpful. That inside the stacking plan itself, you have the ability to print a stacking plan of only vacant spaces inside the property. Suite is available is something else that will show that the suite is available for lease or not. And then you've got some more criteria down here of when the lease began and when it expired, the lease type itself, rate, security deposit, and so on. Down here you've got some some contract options that may be specific to the lease itself. And then once you've edited all this data, you're always going to click save. Over here you've got bump schedule. If you need to keep track of a bump schedule that may be inside the lease for this particular tenant, you can enter all those items in here. So let's just say that it bumps every 2 years over the course of 10 years. You could put in all 5 bump items here. So when this suite is being managed, it's always right here. Down here is where you can keep track of sublease information for the particular suite. So say that you've got a 4,000 square foot suite and it's subdivided into into several tenants, then basically you can add an item here, and then you can fill out all of the sublease data, for that particular sublease. What this is also used for, which we'll get into in a different video, is the ability for you to create, marketing, material for a particular suite or a portion of a suite. You can embed a document inside here, or a picture, or a some sort of a floor plan or PDF, and then you basically put in suite number, tenant, landlord, and so on, all the way across, and then you'll always hit save when you're done. Down here is where you can actually assign a particular tenant record to this suite. This is not required. This is only if you're keeping track of leasing activity, for tenant companies. This is something that we will also get into in a later video. Over here is that we have some more data that would be specific to this particular suite for the lease comp report, and some other reports that we have, which we'll show later. And over here is suite occupancy history. If you have a particular tenant inside this suite and they're moving out, or something significant about the contract you have with them is changing, what you can basically do is archive this suite detail for historical analysis. So you can basically click this button, and it's going to take a copy of this entire suite detail as it stands today, and it's going to put it down here. And what this is important for is that if you ever run a rent roll or some of the other reports that we have, you can choose to include the the history of a particular suite to do a comparison to the current occupant of the suite, for that type of analysis. So this is an overview of the suite detail. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us.